Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Young, Wild and Free, to the corner of the internet where we celebrate middle grade, teen and young adult horror. Now today in this video we are talking about The Sims 2, but not only just The Sims 2, we're talking Sims 2 with a spooky twist. Recently in video 1 I'd said that I wanted to start playing The Sims 2 purely out of nostalgia, but also I wanted to create a Halloween style town. And with The Sims 2 you're able to create your own neighborhood, and that got me thinking, what would it look like if I created my own spooky town filled with mystery, magical elements, supernatural elements and spooky elements? Now, of course, with the Sims 2 Legacy collection, there are so many packs at my disposal. And I must say, I was a little bit overwhelmed because where do I start? What do I do? Do I do a vacation spot? Do I start with a university? Do I go downtown and explore late night? But I really decided to just hone in on something like the neighborhood, because one thing I really love about movies and TV shows that I typically watch is when the town itself kind of feels like a main character. I mean, this is more like specifically to shows maybe like Windows Bay, which came out recently, also It Chapter 1 or Welcome to Derry, Fear Street, that trilogy. There's a lot of like lore and backstory to these towns in which these characters inhabit. And I really love that there's a lot of spooky elements to these towns, and that kind of just allows the mystery to unravel. So I kind of wanted to take that same concept and conceptualize a town of my own. And this town that I created was called Pumpkin Hallows. So today in this video, we are going to look at how I conceptualized it, what I did to the town, which isn't much to be honest, because I do want this to be an ongoing series and kind of take my time with it and really invest in the storytelling element of this opposite of the show, of this town. But yeah, so I really want to see where I can take this town and what I can do. Now, with so many packs, it was already, like I said, overwhelming because I didn't know where to start. But one thing I really love is that there's so much custom content out there for The Sims 2, particularly having the Sims 4 conversions into Sims 2. So I wouldn't be able to do a lot of this stuff without those modders and creators who put their time and effort into this. And they really helped me to expand and explore my imagination, because with certain custom content, with certain mods, we are now able to really play even more. Like the sandbox is full of toys and we are able to dig our hands into it. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I played, and I hope you join along. So let's get into it. Hey guys, so here we are on the Sims 2 neighborhood loading screen, and I'm gonna go over to my custom neighborhood that I'm starting to build. So as you can see, there is no picture over here. I wonder if there is a way to change this picture, because I really do also want that GIF-like or video-like animation. So if anybody knows how to change this, please let me know. But yeah, we have our town called Pumpkin Hallows, and let's get into it. So again, there is just the standard map picture, which I hope to change or find a way to change, but I haven't entered any neighborhood description yet. I feel like as I build and as I create, the story kind of unfolds and naturally tells itself to me. So yeah, I'm just kind of leaving that till the very end. And I want to see what this town truly is about before I go and kind of cement it. Before I kind of cement it in stone, in terms of what the story is, or you know, should be. But we are entering Pumpkin Hallows. This is a very nostalgic feeling. This loading screen. You know, when you play these games that you haven't played in years, and at this point it's probably like 20 years for me, yeah, it just makes you think about like how simpler times were back then, and you know, just how you like could get lost for hours in a game like this. And I feel like it's no different now. It's like I'm finding myself getting lost in this game, you know, as an adult, and I am loving every minute of it. Okay, so the first thing that I did, of course, was choose the name Pumpkin Hallows, which directly ties into the story that I'm trying to tell. But the other thing that, of course, I had to choose was the map. And I played around with quite a few maps, and I ultimately settled on Pleasant View's map. I really like... Oh, there's a glitch. I really like Pleasant View's map because I feel like it's just cozy and quaint enough for it to feel like a town where everybody kind of is able to interact with each other and get to know each other. And you know, it's if I think of this as a realistic town, I feel like this surface area is again reasonable and feasible enough to create as many sims and lots as possible, but without feeling overwhelming and without feeling too big. You know, this is not supposed to be a city, this is more supposed to be like a suburb. And yeah, I really want to have that close, intimate vibe. Like, yeah, you know, I am a suburban boy actually, so I love that feeling of just you know, having quite a few homes around and just a few shops, and I wouldn't say a lot of skyscrapers and apartments, although because this does come with apartments, I do think I will add a few. But anyway, moving on. So here again we have Pleasant View's map, and we can see it has basically 2 healed areas where you can build. So I'm gonna go over to this hill area and kind of just speak about what I have planned for this part. So over here is kind of like my idea of people entering the town, and I felt like, because again this is inspired kind of by horror, by spooky, supernatural, but of course in a cozy way. I felt like this is when people who either are tourists or people visiting or maybe people moving here for the first time, I feel like this is what they would see. So I added like, of course, like a little street sign there, and I wanted to have a little Sims 2 board. But the first thing that they kind of are going to encounter is a gas station. Now, of course, you can't really top your car up with any gas in The Sims 2 because it is not open world, and you know, they don't use their cars like that. But I felt like in every horror movie that I know, particularly slasher movies, or any movies where people are going to stay somewhere, there's always a scene that involves a gas station, and usually at this gas station is basically the last time they are in a safe, well, seemingly safe situation before they jump back into the car and then they drive off to their death. So I felt like, yeah, having a little gas station here is kind of like reminiscent of those tropes within horror movies when you always find the gas station or the gas station attendant or somebody that warns them to not go to the town or to turn around, or you know, just giving that energy, giving that vibe. But yeah, so this is the gas station that I will build. But of course the Sims are not going to listen, and so they cross the bridge. And of course the Sims are not going to listen, so they cross the bridge and go to Pumpkin Hallows. So over here we have a space where I want to definitely create some sort of I don't know, I want to kind of dedicate this street to I don't know what I'm gonna pay homage to, but of course this is on a hill, so I'm not sure if I want to create something that kind of is like paying homage to houses within horror that are on hills itself, maybe House on Haunted Hill, but that's not necessarily, you know, middle grade teen or young adult horror. But I did find this picture of a Goosebumps house that is kind of sitting on a hill. I think it's the promo picture for the TV show, the 90s TV show, and so I think maybe, just maybe, I will create something to that effect that is reminiscent of that, or maybe even like a Goosebumps street, you know, maybe doing the Goosebumps house, like I said, the tall, like dark, eerie, looming one, and then maybe another one on the side. I could even do House on Neibolt Street from It Chapter 1, or the It book in general. So yeah, those are some ideas that I'm floating around with, but definitely I want something to greet the residents or to greet the town tourists when they descend on this bridge and go down this hill. Now down this hill we see that there is basically one of the statement pieces that are in the town, and yeah, I found this is I think one of the first pieces of custom content that I ever downloaded, and it is this water tower, this pumpkin jack-o'-lantern scary faced water tower, and I really like this. I felt like this was what kind of gave me the name Pumpkin Hallows, because I was at first I was thinking of different names like Spooksville, which is a book series from Christopher Pike, or I was thinking of Dark Falls, which is also a town mentioned in Goosebumps, but I decided on Pumpkin Hallows because this, well, number one, it makes reference to Halloween itself, and of course we associate pumpkins with Halloween, and pumpkins also of course get turned into jack-o'-lanterns, so everything just kind of made sense. And also I thought like, okay, I can definitely include pumpkins into the backstory or into the town's not only lore but into the decorations, and also just create like a little pumpkin patch. You know, I can basically use that as a theme really creatively, I think, and let it add to story. But yeah, so over here we have a water tank that just looms and watches out at the townsfolk. So it's kind of, yeah, I put it here so that it's in direct view of everyone's homes, and it's kind of gives that feeling that, you know, something is always watching you. No matter where you look out your window, you see this scary face. And yeah, I just thought that detail was something really cool. But another detail that I did and that I used to pay homage to another movie is I added some of the flowers that you can get, I think, in the terrain. I think it's in the terrain area, or the terrain part in build mode. Yeah, I added a lot of like reds, purples. Of course, there's yellows to kind of like represent the fall season, but I added these two colors because I wanted it to kind of be distinguishable from all the other areas. None of the other areas have this purple or pink. And if you watched Fear Street 1978, you will see that there is a little plot line or story element talking about the red moss that is growing all over the camp, and it's kind of like spreading. So in a way, it's almost like the evil is spreading, or the land is getting infected by the evil. And over here, I added this rock area, which is kind of where a lot of that dark magic is happening. Maybe there's a cult, maybe there's somebody who found some, you know, spell book or something. Yeah, it's again very Fear Street coded, and even down to the rocks that I placed here. If you saw the film any of the villains or any of the people who get turned or infected, their names usually appear in rock. It's like etched in rock. And those are the ones who go on the killing sprees and kill everybody in town. And at the end of the third film, we find out that somebody was doing some sort of evil dark magic and basically sacrificing these people to appease, I don't know if it was to appease spirit or something. I can't remember. I haven't watched that third film in like so long, but I definitely know that, yeah, it turns out that one of the characters has been behind all of the I almost said messiness. I guess it is messiness, but all the bloodshed in Shady Side. Yeah, and then also, of course, again, the plot that was in the film was that somebody was, well, not somebody, a witch actually was hung on the tree in 1966, and this tree has kind of been the kind of the area where a lot of the evil has begun. So yeah, just kind of paying homage to different horror films, especially horror films that have some sort of lore and have some backstory within their own town. But yeah, so going on, I also wanted to add quite a few like mysterious areas or elements to the town, like things that just maybe added to the history of the town, or just some weird occurrences, very you know, almost like Monster of the Week episodes, but still tie into the town and what it is about, and what I'm hoping to tell, you know, within the story. So over here we can see that there is, if I just, okay, there we go. If I just zoom in a little bit more, you can see that here is a UFO crash. Now my idea with this and placing it over here close to that magic area is that maybe some other life force or the aliens picked up on the energy of the town, like picked up on its magical like powers, and were very curious to see what where it was coming from and what it was about. But the nearer they came to this area, or the closer that they came to this area, sorry, they ultimately crashed. But my thinking is that they kind of survived. The aliens survived. They either survived and now they roam free within Pumpkin Hallows, and maybe the magic is allowing them to live in Pumpkin Hallows, or my thought was that 4 aliens like survive the crash, and but because the grounds are so evil, it like kind of like transformed them into pumpkins. So the aliens kind of went missing, but did they go missing, or did they just change into these 4 pumpkins that you see over here? So I don't know, I haven't fleshed that story detail yet, but I have included it in 2 other areas as well. So I'll go and I'll show you. Over here I added just a bunch of trees, and I wanted to kind of harken back to a film that I always watched when I was young, and that is the Blair Witch Project. I mean, that film I've seen so many times when I was young. I don't know why, but it's always the ending. The ending really scared me. And it's of course when Heather goes into the woods and they're already in the woods, but when she continues on through the woods, and then she finds this like shed, and it is really scary at the end because the guy is just standing in the corner, and I don't know why that's so effective, but it really is like, I think, the scariest scene in the film. But anyway, so this area, I kind of wanted to first disguise this area with the trees that we see over here, but then as the Sims probably go for their hike or their walk, they find that the trees have changed, and now they're kind of lost because everything looks the same, and all the trees are tight and surrounding each other really closely, so it's easy to get lost. So then they stumble across this area over here. Now this area is supposed to kind of represent another film which I'm kind of paying homage to. I'm paying homage to a lot of films and TV shows here, but this pays homage to Wrong Turn. Now I don't know if there are going to be any cannibal Sims out here like killing Sims food, but I did kind of want some sort of homage to woodsy horror. And over here we can see that I've just added a few details just to kind of show that it's not really well taken care of. It's you know, kind of dirty. I added a little bit of trash and rubble and some, you know, litter around this area. We've got the little warehouse, the shed, and then also this is the supposed home of these Wrong Turn-esque Sims. But one of the details that I also added that kind of reflect the film is the trucks that I've placed over here. I've placed 3 trucks because in the film there are 3 killers, and I felt like this one in particular kind of it's probably this one. Yeah, the blue one kind of looks like the truck that they use in the film. It's a yellow truck, but over here I just placed a blue and a red, and then this old like tractor looking thing. But again, here are pumpkins that are here, so I don't know if my thinking is that not necessarily that they went missing, but maybe on Halloween these pumpkins transform into the killers, or and then they roam the streets and, you know, get their prey. Or I don't know, there's just something about me placing the pumpkins in these very odd and weird like locations. They're not supposed to be there, but yeah, that's I think what makes it a little bit more eerie and spooky, and just gives you the vibe of like something is very off about this town, because that's kind of what I want to I guess portray or come across. Like when I was younger, I used to watch this show called Desperate Housewives, and I really found it so interesting that a quiet suburb like or the street of Wisteria Lane kind of represented like this, like, you know, quiet little suburb, but behind closed doors there was a lot of mystery and weirdness and strange activity happening, and the townsfolk were like messy, and, you know, the interactions between everybody were, you know, it was just like so entertaining. So that's really the vibe that I'm trying to create with this town. And also I recently watched Widow's Bay. I really love that show, and that also follows a coastal town that has this dark, almost folktale-y backstory, but the characters in there are really funny though. It's a really, really dark humor, funny show. So over here we also have the shipwreck, which again, I thought maybe back in history, maybe in a previous century, some settlers maybe discover this land and maybe try to pass through this bridge, but on their way some dark force beneath the waters kind of like destroyed their boat, and they had to, you know, probably jump ship, or I don't know, maybe they found some sort of like safety on this like small little like area of land. However, again, because they are in Pumpkin Hallows and there is a lot of magic and dark mystery and things just aren't quite right, there are again pumpkins. And again, my thinking is, did they jump off the ship, make it to safety, but then they just, you know, transformed into pumpkins? I don't know. Again, so that's the basic general idea. Yeah, so those are the main kind of areas that I worked on just to add a little bit of story elements to this game. Over here we can see that if we look at the map, I haven't really built many houses or haven't really put down a lot of lots because I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Again, I want to take my time with this because this is like a ongoing series, but I did lay down some community lots because I feel like that is a good place to start, and I kind of wanted this whole area to represent the community lots. So over there we're gonna have a cemetery, then we're gonna have some bars, clubs, and taverns. I'm kind of gonna theme this based on some maybe bars that I know from TV shows or movies, or just something that I think of, within maybe that leans itself to the gameplay. So, but one of them I definitely want to add is the Bronze, which is a club, well, not a club I guess, but like a bar or hangout spot from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So that's definitely going in there. We have a few eating spots. One of the spots that I definitely want to do is like Freddy's Pizza. And at first I thought like, oh, Freddy, like is it like Five Nights at Freddy's? But no, not actually that one. I kind of want to do Freddy's pizza like Freddy Krueger, because again, he is burnt and his face kind of resembles pizza. So I'm definitely going to add something like a Freddy's pizza spot over here. Over here we have Pumpkin Park, which is going to represent a lot of the town's like pumpkin activity. Like there's going to be a pumpkin patch, pumpkin carving, maybe growing pumpkins, kind of like just a nice town area for kids, teens, and adults to come and play and enjoy themselves with many activities. But of course I'm gonna add a lot of like lore and story to these areas too. And then over here I have two different community lots that I built, and I'll go through them, or I'll go into them. But yeah, next to them I just have one that I don't I don't know what it's gonna be, so I just kind of wrote to be determined, TBD. And yeah, I just placed on this lake over here just to again make it feel a little bit more cozy, not to just put too much emphasis on spook, because I feel like the spook is definitely going to be in some of the decorative details, but I still wanted this to feel like a cozy, quaint town, but again with an ominous presence kind of like lurking in the shadows or the background of this town. Okay, so let's go into the first one. I have the Witch's Brew, which is a coffee shop. And okay, so let's go into the first one. I have the Witch's Brew. Witch's Brew is Pumpkin Hallows' favorite coffee shop, serving rich espresso, seasonal treats, and the town's famous pumpkin spice potion latte. It is a welcoming place where neighbors gather, students study, and travelers find a moment of comfort. By night, however, the cafe reveals its true purpose. Behind the store lies a secret apothecary, where its owner, an unassuming witch with a kind heart, brews enchanted potions and protective charms. For generations, she has stood as the town's quiet guardian, sensing an ancient darkness that stirs beneath Pumpkin Hallows each Halloween. So yeah, this is definitely going to be owned by some witchy character. I don't know who that character will be. I still need to create her, and I was thinking maybe it's not like a witch that we know, but maybe it's a character that we know. And I was actually thinking of it being Gretel from Hansel and Gretel. Like I feel like I could kind of make her find her way into Pumpkin Hallows and create some sort of like coffee shop. But okay, so here is with the Witch's Brew, and again I used a lot of CC, a lot of Sims 4 to Sims 2 conversion CC. I actually never knew that this existed, and when I was CC shopping I found so many sites dedicated to this, and I will definitely link them below so you guys can check them out for yourself or go and download a couple of things for yourself. But yeah, like the CC really helped. and also the cheats, like to be able to move objects as well as to place objects that don't snap to a grid. Yeah, those really helped me to just kind of liven up the build and make my vision come to life and really just play around with some creativity. But okay, so the one little thing that I kind of love first off the bat is are these lights, these street lights that I kind of placed down. I feel like they kind of do represent pumpkins. And again, pumpkins are kind of like the theme that I try to add into each build. So yeah, these are the only things that I felt represent pumpkins, but I didn't want to do too much pumpkin imagery within this build because again, this is a good witch and she knows that there's something off about the town. Maybe it has something to do with the pumpkins, maybe the soil in which the pumpkin grows are like I said, infected, or like there's just some force beneath the ground. I don't know, but yeah, it is. I just kind of wanted to add like a hint of it, but not go full, not go overboard with this. So yeah, let's just kind of like go through the outside. Again, this is a coffee shop, so it's my whole idea for it is to kind of look like a coffee shop. So we've got some seating outside. Everything is very cottagey, giving witch house in the woods. For these I used a lot of cottage living, enchanted by nature, crystal creation, as well as a few other packs that I found, again, which are conversions from The Sims 4. But yeah, I kind of really did think of Hansel and Gretel as I was building this build, because I found that having Gretel as a character to be in Pumpkin Hallows, just for me, kind of, again, I always find ways to try and tie some sort of children's horror into the story or the town that I'm trying to create here. And yeah, a lot of what I'm doing is kind of hearkening to the time when I used to really play with my imagination. And yeah, so I felt like Gretel is kind of the avatar for this lot. So I kind of made two things, one for her, one for Hansel. In this story, Hansel is probably gonna be dead. If you haven't seen that film, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, my idea is that Hansel and Gretel, of course, grew up to be witch hunters, but in one of the battles, Hansel unfortunately passed away and, lost a battle to one of the witches, and that caused Gretel to, of course, go into a stage of grief and to give up witch hunting, and she took all the riches that she had found from the first witch that she had defeated, and basically decided to use all those jewels and all that money basically to move to Pumpkin Hallows, and she's been living here ever since. But because she isn't naturally a witch, and she has fought many witches, so she kind of is well versed in spells and magic, and she's kind of been a student of the very thing that she tries to defeat, and in turn has then become almost like a good witch herself. So yeah, I just placed a lot of like things over here. This shed is kind of like where she does her spells, and like the apothecary, she has a little greenhouse where she can grow a lot of her herbs and things she needs for potions. I placed down some of these like fairy houses and fairy trees and spell spell mats, or the little like spell thing that she can use. I don't quite know the term for that. And then just kind of again giving it a very cottagey, cozy look and vibe. Again, she can grow some things over here. So yeah, this is basically the outside. I like how it looks. It's very cozy. Again, I wanted this to also be very visually appealing to any of the Sims or when I'm using this for gameplay. I really wanted to enjoy the space that I'm gonna be playing in, and so this is definitely something I feel really good and proud of. But let's go into the building itself and see what we have over here. Okay, so again, I like the fairy lights, and just here we are entering the building. So let me just rotate the camera and bring the walls down. Okay, so here we are in our little coffee shop area. As you can see, we have a lot of cakes that are laid down. It's again kind of to pay homage to the cakey candy house that we have in Hansel and Gretel in the story, but I also place like a little gingerbread house to really like sell that idea that Gretel still kind of like remembers her past, and she hasn't quite forgotten the origins of her, I guess her life, or when it, like, I wouldn't say when it began, but when she went through that experience and how it kind of has shaped her to become the woman that she is now. And then of course the cakes, you know, sweets, candy, all those things again represent you know, just her experience there as well. Another thing that I of course needed to add was like a very old like looking like fireplace, and that also kind of represents the oven that she pushed the witch into. Of course the oven was much bigger in the story, but again, just like little details to add to this story, just so that we can just kind of like enrich the environment with lore and just kind of make everything make sense. So over here we have some seating areas for people to sit down. There's a cauldron, of course, just to emphasize the witchy vibe if you haven't already noticed. Some herbs. Of course, we have this lovely mirror over here. And then we also have a couple of pictures, and one of the pictures we see is actually of a forest. And again, that is harkening back to them getting lost in the forest. So yeah, I really love the conversions of this CC. Like, it really looks so good in game, and I just really love that people took the time to create these things and give it for free. Like, these really are like the MVPs of the Sims world, because I don't know, they just help to make everything look so good. Like, look how this looks over here. Like, isn't this beautiful? But anyway, so yeah, the color scheme also that I was kind of going for was actually based on another witch. Well, no, she's not a witch actually, she's a fairy, but not that I ever watched the show, but I am familiar with the show. But if you know Winx Club, there is a fairy called Flora, and she usually has these pinks, greens. She's like the plant fairy, so she kind of was the inspiration for this area. And you know, just a lot of plants, a lot of greenery, just things that felt very nature, but I kind of wanted to make it feel, or at least like gain inspiration from a character and kind of use them as like the building's muse. So I would say that Gretel and Flora kind of like were the muses for this build. Like, I tried to incorporate some things that I felt would speak to them as characters. And yeah, so over here we just have the bathrooms, and again, just a lot of florals. I really love this set. I don't know, I think it's like from Enchanted by Nature, but yeah, it just really looks so good. I love it. So yeah, so that is the first build that I did. I just really wanted to add again a lot of things that felt witchy, felt cozy, felt cottagey, felt enchanted. Again, this is supposed to be the area of a good witch, or the shop or the store that is owned by a good witch. And like I said, it probably is going to be Gretel, even though she isn't actually a witch, but that's kind of where I can get creative with the story, is to explain a little bit of how she became a magical sorceress herself. So yeah, so I hope you guys like that one. We're just gonna go into the second lot that I built, where we have Pumpkin Plaza. And Pumpkin Plaza is basically the area of the town where of course the Sims can go and shop or hang out. And it says, at the heart of Pumpkin Hallows lies Pumpkin Plaza, a lively shopping district where autumn never ends and every storefront has a tale to tell. Catch a late night classic at the Moonlight Cinema, challenge yourself at Final Fitness, or cool off with a pumpkin milk tea while swapping the latest town gossip at Scoops and Spirits. Browse the shelves of Rewind Relics, a vintage shop packed with vinyl records, CDs, horror VHS tapes, and forgotten board games. Locals insist one old adventure game should never be taken home. Younger visitors love stopping by the toy shop, although employees quietly joke that one doll has a habit of changing shelves when nobody is looking. Pumpkin Plaza welcomes locals and visitors alike, but behind the laughter and twinkling lights, the oldest residents know the plaza has always been more than a shopping district. Ooh, so again, I really wanted to create something that feels normal, that we all kind of know from real life. Like, I think everybody has been to a plaza before, but yeah, just add a little bit of lore and detail into these builds that help to flesh out the story. Okay, so this build actually took me really long. Actually, to the point where I was actually getting a little frustrated. I was kind of a little over it, to be honest. Like, I almost wanted to give up, but I felt like I had to really like power through when it came to this build. So yeah. But okay, so here we have the outside of the Pumpkin Plaza, and yeah, again, I wanted to really just represent something that showed, of course, pumpkin imagery with the oranges and the greens, but also something that kind of looked really similar to the plazas that I used to go to when I was younger. Little small ways I made sure to add them. So over here we have the well, and you will see that the well is boarded up, and I put this well over here because I kind of thought that maybe, just maybe, during the construction of the plaza, maybe one of the workers fell down, and of course fell to their death, and yeah, there could be that. Now they're like haunting the plaza. Or maybe I thought there could be, of course, like the ring. Maybe the plaza opened, but on the first day of opening, tragedy struck and a girl fell down the well. So of course, very, very, very much making reference to the ring. But yeah, so we go from here into the outdoor cinema, which is called Moonlight. The whole idea is to have an outdoor cinema, which is where the Sims can have fun and enjoy themselves with a nice view, of course, under the starry sky. And yeah, just I really like what I did with this space. It's very colorful, very cozy. There are two different screens where your Sims can watch films. Of course, a horror film is always suggested, but yeah, it was just really about adding things to just make it feel as again, as cozy and as spooky as possible, but not going overboard with any of those two ideas, you know. So here we have the vending machines, and we have a cute little poster of the latest movie that features, I guess, a werewolf. So yeah, and werewolves are also, of course, available in Sims 2. So that is always nice to pay like some sort of like homage to that. We have some quilts here that your Sims can use that they can, throw over themselves in case it gets cold, especially on like the wintry or autumn or fall seasons. And then we have, these like really cool camping chairs and these poofs that are from the Comfy Gamer kit, which is also another conversion. And then I put like a lot of like clutter that I felt kind of just again added to this atmosphere of just like relaxed, playful, but again spooky area, I guess. Over here we have horror films. If you can see, we have Scream, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street just laid on the floor for them to watch. Of course, we have some pizza. Probably got this from Freddy's Pizza. And we have some popcorn and some chips. We also have, of course, pumpkins laying around everywhere, because what is Pumpkin Hallows and Pumpkin Plaza without some pumpkins? One thing I also really love is the detail that I added over here with some monsters on the ground. And then we also have this cute like Scream popcorn bucket, and I just knew I had to add these into the game, because I mean, again, we are always trying to incorporate horror in everything that we do. And as you can see over here, there are some stacked VHSs, and I'm really glad I found this one, because It Chapter 1 kind of is the vibe of what I'm going for when it comes to creating this town, or at least parts of this town, and who inhabits this town. Because I just really love that Derry is just this like town where there is this weird law with Pennywise and coming every 27 years. And then we have Friday the 13th. We have an empty pizza box, as well as like a 6-pack of Corona, maybe some underage drinking. Again, very horror, very teen slasher. And then over here we have the candy station, snacks, sweets, treats, all that you can have. And then of course they just pay over here by the self-serving kiosk area. So so that is Moonlight Cinema. So I don't know, would you guys like to come and book a ticket here and watch? I think it looked, again, just really cozy, really nice. Again, not going too overboard with any of the details when it comes to horror, but adding just a few things to, of course, create and cement the spook. So now we're gonna go to the mall itself. So we're gonna, well, not the mall, but the plaza. We're gonna go in through the entrance, and over here we have our like just electronics kiosk. Again, I feel like this is something that you see at every plaza or every mall. And I just really liked to put like a couple of things down, not overboard. Just, we've got a couple of iPads, we have some phones, speakers, cameras, and then of course some retro electronics. And I don't think anybody is gonna work here. This won't be a functional plaza. I think that you can't have multiple owners in one plaza, and I don't think I want one person running the entire plaza. So we're not gonna go with that idea, but I definitely wanted to just, again, create the idea of having some place for people of all ages to really come and just explore. This would probably be for, of course, some middle-aged woman. I just picture her coming to grab a jacket from this boutique. And I feel like, again, a plaza is not complete without a boutique. Over here, we have the coffee shop. And the coffee shop is just a little bit more like rustic, not as whimsical as the Witch's Brew, but this one is just somewhere where people can come and talk and, you know, grab a coffee. And I found a lot of decorative items like these sandwiches and these donuts and cookies, and I don't think any of them are edible, but just in case the Sims really do want coffee, I placed a lot of coffee machines at the back just so that they really could come and grab one and sit down if they saw, you know, if they felt they needed a caffeine boost. Over here we have an ice cream store slash bubble tea store with an outdoor little seating area that I just kind of placed some, again, clutter decorations just to, again, liven up the space and to make it feel lived in. And this is kind of inspired by a lot of the Point Horror, Fear Street books, or just those vintage 90s teen books where a lot of the girls in the books come together and gossip and talk about who they like and this character. And yeah, it just felt like a teen hangout spot that I really felt needed to be added to the game. I really love the colors. I really love the vibrance of this area, and I tried to make it look, I kind of really tried to make it look girly, very teen, very bubblegum pink, very bubblegum pop, and just giving like a very retro but also modern kind of feel. And again, it's not really functional, but I feel I did place a milkshake and ice cream machine over there just so that they can have something. Then over here we have my favorite store, which is the vintage store. And this store is probably a store that I would have loved to work at. We've got a couple of records, we've got some CDs, some vinyls, of course. We have the stacked horror films over here, and we got some games, some like old-timey games and old electronics, some old electronics devices. And we also have two of my favorite things that I found, one being the Jumanji board game. Like, again, just trying to find some ways to incorporate horror or some sort of teen or young, I guess, kids adventure horror. So Jumanji definitely plays into that. And then we also have these amazing like action figures like Michael Myers, Leatherface. We have Freddy and Jason, of course. So yeah, I just feel like this is a store that I really would have loved to not only come to, but also I would have loved to work in the store. But oops, let me just turn and go here. And then I also added, of course, a little jack-o'-lantern, scarecrow, again just fitting in the pumpkin theme. And then we have this like rack of, I guess, special effects makeup, which is on sale. So yeah, I feel like this is, again, just such a nice, cool idea for a store. We have the orange shopping baskets. So yeah, again, really love this store. I think this is like my favorite. Yeah, so we have our toy store, and there's some vending machines, and there is a little detail that I added to the toy store that I felt again harkens back to some sort of horror. But we have some, you know, a ball pit, we have a ball pit, we have a toy box for children to actually, I think, play with, just in case they do like step in here. There's some plushies and some teddy bears. There's a couple of toys on display over here. And then we have we have two things that I found that I decided to download. We have a Squid Game doll, and then we also have this doll over here, which looks surprisingly like the original Annabelle doll. And you know, I felt like she kind of, this Annabelle doll, probably during the night, she probably goes to different stores, or she is, I don't know, maybe causing the other toys or the other things within the stores to come to life. So I like the fact that they are just facing each other as if they're having a conversation. So yeah, I'm really into this idea. And then we have a little gaming station, again very much comfort gaming kit inspired, and of course we have the posters of The Sims and The Sims 2, and yeah, just I feel like just wanted a space for Simmers to come and play games. Although I forgot to add chairs, oh no. Anyway, yeah, so moving along from there, we also have this bookstore, which again is just very cozy, very rustic. I wanted it to look like almost antique-y in a way, like a lot of like just not necessarily like a modern build, but just making it look lived in, a little rustic, a little old, but again still very cozy. Any sim that comes here is probably going to just be able to relax and unwind. But again, over here is like an occult book that somebody forgot. So I kind of, again, was thinking of everything within each store to have a little piece of horror and just have a little memento that spoke to spookiness. Over here we have the gym. This is the final gym or final fitness gym. Again, I chose that name because they have to do a lot of running from the killer, so what better way than to practice or to you know, get their steps or cardio up than at the gym. So yeah, I just created like a little small boutique gym because I felt like, you know, this would be an area that, you know, Simmers would like to come and just yeah, utilize. And then last but not least, we have a store that I didn't quite know why I added this in, but I kind of thought that maybe this would be a store where there are a lot of like artifacts and art on sale, and but some of the art or some of the statues or these relics, so to say, maybe come with their own set of evil powers or curses. Over here we have Annabelle again. She has followed us into the store, but yeah, there's just a bunch of cursed or maybe belonged to some sort of ancient pharaoh or magician or witch or king or something. I don't know, it just has some sort of story to it, and yeah, that's why I added it in here, because I felt like it just was something that created a little bit of interest, a little bit of, and also a little bit of variation from the typical stores that I would have added into. Yeah, basically guys, that is all that I've done so far when it comes to Pumpkin Hallows. Again, there is so much more to do, there's so much to explore, and of course I definitely want to incorporate more horror and more spook and more you know, kooky things within this town, but definitely still wanted to feel lived in, wanted to be practical, want the gameplay to still be able to be at the front and center of this build. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this town so far. What do you think I should add? What do you think I should take out? Is there any ideas you guys have? I'll be very happy to hear them in the comments below. Okay guys, so that does it for today's video. I hope that you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!